I run an online education business in South Africa as a solopreneur, and I could not serve the hundreds of customers that I have in my business without automation. So in this video, I quickly want to show you guys one unique case that I have to basically collect debit order payments or split payments from my customers using Zapier. I think it's really interesting sometimes to see behind the scenes of this, and so I just thought I'd shoot this quick little video and show you what I do in my business. By the end of this video, you should have a better insight into what it takes to run an online business, and this is just one of the many automations and features that I have in my business. Just a bit of background on the business. So I currently have an online education platform where I sell online courses. I'm planning on launching many courses soon. Some of the things that I will be teaching will include all of the skills that I have, but currently the course that I'm selling is a social media management course that teaches you how to become a social media manager from scratch and also how to get international clients. And this is what is really appealing to a lot of people because they want to know how to actually get the job and work with clients, because I have successfully done this. But I am releasing loads and loads of new more courses soon that will include other skills, other digital marketing skills. So currently, right now, I only have one payment option. I am thinking of bringing back the split payment option because a lot of people are requesting it. Pricing is something I'm constantly testing, okay? So probably by the time you watch this video, this page will look completely different, but this is what I currently have. But before this, we recently had a price increase, right? But before this, the price was actually 1,499 if you pay in full, in rands. So it was something like this, right? There was the full price here was 1,400, I think, and 99 rand. And then you could either pay 1.5, pay in full, once off, or you could have a split payment where you pay 850 times 2. Now, obviously, this ended on the 1st of September, so I currently don't have this, and our price has since gone up to this. So what I want to show you in this video is what I do for the customers that had chosen this option. It's quite involved, but yeah, so that's what we're going to break down in this video. So as you can see here on the sales page, they were promised access to the first 5 modules when they pay in the first month, and then in the second month, the other 5 modules, right? I also had an upsell. So this upsell basically meant that you can pay an extra 300 and you will unlock this Upwork Mastery course, but only after your second payment. So that is on the sales page, right? This also ended up causing a bit of an issue, which I will tell you about shortly. But my business is really big. I have a lot of customers and it's actually quite complicated on the back end. And I actually was having a feature issue that wasn't even created on the platform, and the developers at Paystack actually had to fix the code so that what I want to work could work. Let me show you. I literally got an email from the developer relations at Paystack about the API and how they're going to change things to make it work. I'm sorry, but it's giving big business energy when entire platforms have to fix code for your online business. Let's continue. None of this applies at the moment. Right now, you pay one price. Right now you pay one price and you get absolutely everything. Okay, so, but this was before. I just want to show you what I used to do. So we've had some courses in the past, but this is the main course that I have currently, and as you can see, there's over 700 people. So this is the back of the course inside Kajabi. So when they first come in, they will actually have access to the first 5 modules, as you can see, and then from module 6, the course is actually drip fed. This basically ensures that when the customer enrolls, they don't just get access to everything, even though they've only paid for half, right? This is going to become very important, and you'll see why. I hope you're still with me, and as you can see, I'm terrible at tech tutorials, so I'm trying my best to explain this, and I want to make this video really quick. Okay, so the situation is someone has paid half, and they need to get half of the course. Then what has to happen next is after 30 days, they need to now pay the second half, and they also then need to get access to the second half of the course. Now we've got that automatically happening. The second half of the course will be drip fed to them after 32 days. And so they will get access after 32 days. I just added that extra 2 days buffer time, but the other half will automatically be released. Now, how has this gone for me? How has having a 2-part payment system worked for me? You know, everybody wants to have subscriptions or recurring revenue, but the reality of it is that it can get technical to actually collect those payments. And I know people that have really big businesses in America that actually have to have a whole team of people collecting these failed payments, because the nature of human beings is sometimes people don't honor their payment. This is standard across businesses, and that is why people have collections department. But I'm a solopreneur. It's just me. How am I supposed to do this for hundreds of customers? So of these plus 700 people that have enrolled in my course, 210 of them actually opted to do the two-part payment system. And I'm actually quite proud, honestly, of the people that have actually completed their transactions. If I go here to status and I just show attention, these are people that actually haven't paid, right? You'll see that out of 210, it's only 17 people that actually haven't made their payment. Paystack will show you here that these are the 17 subscription issues. So I don't think this is that bad compared to 210 people and only 17 of them have not yet honored their payment. For me, that is not the end of the world. And I think one of the reasons that I have such a high collection is all the automations that I'm going to show you that I have built in to ensure that I actually collect that payment, and also having a really, really good product, right? I think this shows that if so many people are actually completing and honoring their payment, they saw value for money. They saw that, no, I need to get access to the second half of the course. And so I just want to let you know that if you have a subscription and in the first month you will realize if this really wasn't worth the money, they're just not going to pay the second payment. So I think also having such a high collection rate shows that people really, really see value for money, and many of them probably just don't pay because they probably just don't have the money. It happens, it's life. But how do I actually do that? Okay, so one of the issues that I faced was the fact that charging a card is actually quite a lot of work, right? This whole debit order thing, it seems so simple. As South African, you sign up for a debit order, it just seems so simple, but the back end of it is actually a lot more complicated. And I spent some time researching this at the beginning of the year, trying to find a tool that if the payment is missed, it will actually keep charging the card multiple times. You'll find that some of the payment gateways in America, for instance, can actually keep charging the card every day or multiple times. But unfortunately, Paystack can't do that. It can charge, though, the card once a month only. And I did go with Paystack because, in my opinion, it is the best, and I'll tell you why. If you know anything about online businesses in the world, Stripe is the biggest payment gateway that is used in America. It is the biggest, all the biggest, best companies use Stripe to collect payments if you run an online business. And Stripe actually acquired Paystack. So I have a lot of comfort knowing that I'm using a payment gateway that's actually underneath Stripe. You can't currently get Stripe in South Africa, and so this is the very best, next best thing. And it's not very popular. A lot of people don't use Paystack, and I'm not sure why. They have the best fees, they have the best technology, they were acquired by Stripe. I don't see why people aren't using it, but anyway. So yeah, I'm using Paystack, so I know that it's the best of the best. It has the most customization, in my opinion, according to a lot of the payment gateways. Now there are other tools, Upwork, Payflex, and those that allow subscriptions, but I don't want to use some tiny little tool. I've learned in my years of business that the bigger a company is, the more support that you will have, and the more reliable it will be. And I'm kind of wary of using small little players. I tend to go for the best of the best. It's usually the most expensive, but Paystack isn't actually that expensive. It's actually cheaper than Payfast, which I think a lot of people use Payfast. Anyway, let me take a deep breath. Okay, so I use Kajabi for my course, which is the best in the world, also most expensive, and I use Paystack because I have found that using the biggest tools often leads to more reliability, especially when you have so many customers like I do. Editing K here, and I want to say something about the number of customers and how that affects you positively as the customer. And I learned this trick from Vanessa Lau a couple of years ago when she said that a lot of people said that her course was cheap, right, compared to the high-priced courses. And she said the reason she can keep it affordable is because she has a very large audience and a lot of customers, and therefore doesn't have to charge very high tickets. So you'll find that the reason I'm able to keep my price, even now it's $200, which for me is very, very cheap, okay? There are courses that don't even have half of the content that I have, but are like $2,000. And I want to make courses that are affordable for Africans, because that is my calling in this life, to help people that are in third world countries really play on this online market space. But it's because I have a large volume of customers, because I have 700 people. The numbers work out for me. But if I had only like 10 students or 20 students, then the price would be way more. And I know other online course sellers in the country who have much smaller people, and so they either have to charge more to make money, and it gets tricky. And so my students are actually blessed, because that's the reason the economics just works out in my favor, because there's so many of you, the numbers all work out in the end. But that doesn't speak to the value of the course. But I have increased the price as I add more, as the course becomes more complex. Just a background, last year I was selling the first version of the program for $8.99. Then in November when I launched, it was up to 1,500, and it's been about 1,500 for the whole year, even though I've added a ton of content in there and loads of upgrades. And so we recently had an increase to $200, which is around 3,600, and the price only is going to go up as I add more, as there's more value. But I will still try to keep it affordable for beginners and use the volume model. So that's just the side note about course pricing. It's really not that simple, but I think in my favor, I have a large audience on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and so I'm able to keep keep the price affordable. If ever I could only had 10 students, the price would have to be way more, 7,000 Rand, 10,000 Rand, and that's what other people end up doing. And I'm sure if you haven't already, some of you have whipped out your calculator and tried to calculate how many. You know what, nah? The thing is, people often say, why are online courses not free? Why are you charging? Da, 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 da. And at the end of the day, you're going to see in this tutorial how much time and effort all of this takes. And that is with automation. Some people don't even know how to make automations like I do. So imagine doing all this work. Like, who must do all this work? Who must do all these follow-up, customer support, emails, help people answer their questions? Who must do that for free? I have an hourly rate. I also have my own clients, right, as a social media manager, and they pay me a good hourly rate. And so because I know my hourly rate as a freelancer, there's no way I can sit for an hour and help people for free. And so it's a misconception that people have that you think that these things should be free. And let me tell you something, something is free, the person isn't going to put a lot of effort into it, right? And so if you want help, if you want, when you have questions, there's someone to answer your questions, help you. If you struggling to pay, someone has to help you. That costs money, costs time. Somebody must sit here and do that. I have 700 customers. Imagine trying to serve all those people for free. It does not make logical sense. And so yeah, people need to stop that mentality of thinking that online courses, education needs to be free. It needs to be charged. And while we're here talking about, I've seen the calculations you guys do in my comment section. While we're here, I must just address it. You can make a lot of courses from online courses. They are very lucrative. Iman Gaji is one of the biggest online course sellers, you know, on YouTube, and he closed down his agency because probably the online course makes more money. So online courses make a crap ton of money. I've crossed 1 million Rand in revenue long time ago. This is one of my revenue streams. I crossed it long time ago, but I just share about how I made my first million because that is most relevant. And for me, it was a mixture of this digital product and other things that I do. I, unlike Iman, won't close my agency or won't stop serving social media clients. I will continue to do that and even grow and do more because I need to stay relevant. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm still working with clients, even if it might represent less revenue on my balance sheet at the end of the year. So you'll see, like, my students, just last week, I think recently, I had a Q&A call with them and I showed them the 2 clients that I'm working with, their names, how much they're paying me. Like, if you're inside my course, I will literally show you. You can see that I'm still actively working with clients because I teach, so I need to make sure that what I'm teaching is still relevant. Does it really matter at the end of the day where my income comes from? As long as I have information that can help you make money, stop trying to be scientific and figure things out that have nothing to do with you. That's probably why you're broke, because you're doing things that don't matter. Focus on getting help and making your first 10,000, 100,000, a million, instead of trying to be this investigative journalist. Like, if I'm paying customers, I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to use the most expensive tools. I'm going to use the most expensive software. I'm going to be creating a video soon showing you all the different tools and software that I use. And you'll see how much money I spend on software alone, how complicated this entire business is. It cannot be free. And you get what you pay for in this life. If something is free, what do you expect to get out of it, you know? Anyway, so you can sit there, calculate whatever you think, but at the end of the day, did people get value out of the product that they bought? That is all that matters. Did people achieve the result? Did people feel educated, helped, and they know that at any time, if you're a paying student of mine, you can come and I'll help you. I get a lot of people asking me, please mentor me. I'm not going to mentor you for free. I have people who've paid me, 700 of them, and I'm responsible to answer their questions whenever they ask me. Anyway, let's go back to the video. So, okay, Paystack can charge the card once a month. So, for example, if a customer signed up on the 1st of July, and they signed up on the 1st of July, they paid their first installment. Then on the 1st of August, their next payment will be due. Paystack will actually send emails like a few days before. It will say, hey, please note your upcoming payment, please make payment. It will like send them some reminder emails, and then the next month it will charge the card. If there's money in the account, the transaction will go through. We're happy. The course is dripped. Everything is beautiful and wonderful. But in the event that on that second payment, even though Paystack has reminded them that they have an upcoming payment, let's say the customer doesn't have money in the account and the payment doesn't actually go through, what then? Paystack will actually just roll over and charge them in the next month, not keep charging them multiple times. So here's a very good example of that, right? This customer signed up on the 25th of July, right? That was the first payment. It means on the 25th of August, they were charged again, but it failed. On the 25th of September, they were charged again and it failed. So Paystack will then, it's just going to keep charging them, okay? Once a month though, only, which is fine, but it's a bit of a problem for me. So this is the best that Paystack can do for me, which is fine, I understand. So now I'm going to use Zapier to actually try to speed up the collection of this payment. So the first thing I will do, and I'll show you the Zapier now, is when the customer doesn't make their payment in that second month. Remember on the sales page, we said your first payment, you get access to half of the course. and the other balance is due. The course is charged, at a higher price. So you owe me this money. I'm not selling half of the course for $850 and I'm selling half of the course. No, the course has a price and you are liable for the entire amount. And so in the first month, they get an email from me that explains that they are part of a subscription and that they will have to make payment on their second installment, or they will lose access to the whole course because the whole amount is due, right? So they will lose access to the entire course. So I have a Zapier that goes out that lets them know that they're going to lose access to the whole course if they don't make their second payment. So I have a few zaps going on, but I want to focus on the ones that are related to payment. Okay, so this is an email. I don't send this email anymore. Like I said, I don't actually have this available as a payment option and the price has gone up. But basically it says that there's an automatic email that goes out and says you're going to be charged this amount on your card. And if I let them know, this is when they purchase, they are told, if we cannot charge if your payment bounces, you will lose access to the course. To resume access, please make payment using the following link. One thing I love about Paystack is that they have these payment pages, right? So let me show you a payment page. This is a quick and dirty page that you can make to collect quick payments like this one. And actually, if you're using the same card as before, Paystack will actually save your card details, so then you can just press pay now and pay, and it will remember you and it will be fabulous. So I love that, right? So I have this email that says, okay, your payment if you miss your payment, you can pay manually using this link. Loads and loads of my customers actually use this to make the manual payment because sometimes life happens, right? The debit order is due, you don't have money, but maybe a week or so later, you actually can make your payment. So they are able to make their payment like this. Oh, I've also had a good number of customers request to pay early. So that's the reason why in the beginning I give them the manual payment link. So if they wish to pay early, that has happened so many times where people, like, they join a week into it, they're like, this is good, I want to just pay, I want to pay off everything. And that was really fun and unexpected, the number of people that actually request to pay early. And I'm like, yes, the product is so good, people want to pay, they want to finish their payment now. But yeah, in the event that they don't make their payment, it comes back as failed subscription. So basically, Paystack tries to charge them and it fails. I have a Zapier that says, okay, look, revoke access to the offer, which is what I said would happen. I told them in the email that if you don't make your payment, you will lose access. The Zapier does exactly that. It removes access to the course. Now you actually don't have access to the course and you need to make your payment to resume. So after it revokes access, it then sends them an email, right? So send them an email, let them know, hey, what does this say? Urgent payment issue. This is a terrible tech tutorial. You'll have to forgive me. Right, so we'll notice that you have not paid. Please pay your balance to resume course access. So that is what people do. They'll then click on that link and then they will resume access. So how does it do that? Let's see. Okay, so it sends them to this page, right? So once they have paid, then it will detect that, okay, there's a new payment page transaction, which is that page. If there's a new transaction, re-grant them that offer and send them an email that they now have offer grant. Their offer is granted. So if they pay and they bring their account up to speed, they are then granted the offer. Can you see why I don't do tech tutorials? I'm terrible at this. And also, it's not a lesson. If it was a lesson in my course, it would be well structured and proper, but I'm just quickly trying to show you the behind the scenes of my business. And so that is how I'm able to collect payments of hundreds of people while I sleep. And I think that for me, if you're going to run an online business, you should use online tools. You should use automations and systems. You shouldn't be doing things manually with WhatsApp or whatever. I don't like that, right? I find that to be chaotic. And like I said, I have hundreds of customers. There's no way I'd be able to manage 700 customers or 200 subscriptions by myself. I'd be spending all my life doing debt collection, which is not how I choose to spend my time. What else can I tell you? I do find, as someone, now just some thoughts about my experience allowing people to have payment plans. It's interesting. I think a lot of people are really grateful for the option to split the payment in half. But I do find that, there's stories and you have to have all these automations, and sometimes the automations fail. It's technology. Things sometimes go wrong. It's quite reliable. I think it works about 95% of the time, but sometimes there's a bit of an issue and you have to go in. That is why I don't have these as multi-step zaps. Multi-step zaps is basically when you have a lot of steps connected all in one. And that is like, it looks nice on paper when you have all of these Zapier connections and triggers together. But in my experience, I have found that zaps sometimes fail. And I don't want to have this multi-step zap where if it fails at the beginning, then the whole chain is broken. And so that's why I have independent Zapiers going, so that at any point, the transactions can still go through, the emails can still go through, the notifications can still go through, even if something fails along the way. This stuff is hard, I don't want to lie, but I enjoy it. I mean, it took me 5 minutes to set all of these zaps up. Like, it comes very naturally to me. I don't know if it's because I'm an engineer and I did way harder things when I worked in manufacturing. For instance, at SAB, I found that way harder to understand a filler and a pasteurizer. I found it way harder to read those manuals of the manufacturing equipment. So for me, this is a piece of cake, a walk in the park, and I think engineers probably would make really good digital marketers. So if you're an engineer, consider digital marketing, because the level of effort all of this requires is a lot lower than what we studied in school and what you do at your day job, which is why I secretly love it. It does come very naturally to me. I'm a very process-oriented person, and I absolutely love this. And I think in the future, I will actually draw a process flow diagram to actually show how all of this goes. I just haven't had time to do that. But in my mind, I understand how everything is connected. And I hope that this explanation made sense to you. And if you're considering having subscriptions, I think two-part payment is the best way to go, because I know some people that split the payments over 4 months or 6 months. It just becomes so freaking complicated when you have so many payments. And I know we all want that monthly recurring revenue of subscriptions. But in my opinion, I initially considered doing a 6-month payment plan, but I realized this is going to be tricky to do all of that, and so I stuck with just two-part payment, and that is what I would recommend. It's simpler and neater. Then the person makes the payment and you can just continue like that. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't wish to do tech tutorials of this kind. Like, I'd rather sell you a course, okay? You must pay me. I don't like to teach for free, especially technical and complicated stuff like this. Let me know if maybe in the future I should create a course about how I run my online business, other things that I do, because I will be happy to create that course and have you pay for it so that I can actually help you. But if you have general questions about running an online business, I'll be happy to answer you. All right, I hope you enjoy that, and I will see you in the next one.